Hi, and welcome to. Oh Jesus Christ! I don't have a solid opening for this. This is probably going to be the first video that I upload as like a formal playthrough. It's been a mess. It's been a mess. This is like the third or fourth time I'm starting this campaign over. Because the first time I tried recording, the whole system crashed. My overclocked CPU could not handle the strain of being overclocked, running the game, an audio encoder and a video encoder, and it just wiped out after 15 minutes. After that, I got through a second playthrough of the first level successfully. It took about an hour, but it recorded a really bad video. So here we are. I ran attempt 3 about a few minutes ago, and attempt 3 actually looked pretty fucking great. So attempt 3 is pretty much the basis of how we're moving forward into what is now attempt 4, which is going to be our essentially the actual run. So hello and welcome again to Dishonored's Death of the Outsider. My name is Jackal. We'll be playing. I really wish that, I had all the enthusiasm I had from like several hours ago, but I'm just already completely wiped out, as you can probably imagine. But I think the gist of it here is that what's important is you'll be playing with me. And what that means here is what I'm doing this for is I'm doing this because I started watching another popular YouTuber. His name is Cry. And Cry has a very specific philosophy when it comes to games. What's happening in Cry's plays through is that he's really trying to preserve the game experience. He's not talking through cutscenes, he's not interrupting dialogue, he's interacting with the world and reading the kind of like filler text that brings everything together and builds a coherent world, so that as you explore, you get to see his failures, you get to see the way the game is made to be played, and you get to see an option of how to play the game with his commentary, and at the same time, the fact that he steps out during times of like cutscenes or to preserve dialogue really helps maintain the world. So the way this is going to go on a going forward basis is just like that. My primary function here is to respect the game and the world around it and the developers who have put it together, so that you, as a secondary consumer, can experience the game as though you were a primary consumer. And because, I know that not everyone's going to afford the game, not everyone's going to have time to play the game, not everyone's going to play the game in the same way that I'm going to play it, meaning potentially, you're definitely going to get through it a lot better, hopefully, but you could also get through it a lot worse as well, and that's an option too. I tend to go for like a stealth playthrough, but maybe you're going to go through a more aggressive playthrough. Either way, we're going to go ahead, we're going to start all over again, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. I'm going to do hard, because I am, like I said, a fan of the Dishonored series, and this is now the third or fourth time going through this first mission. I already know it like the back of my hand, but I really want to emphasize playing stealthy here, so that's going to be something we're going to do. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's get this started.
My name is Billy Lurk, though there aren't many people who remember. For years, I stayed hidden, captain of a ship called the Dreadful Whale. I was a smuggler, fence, and maybe traitor, depending on who you ask. Our names are always overshadowed by the words whispered after them. If you hide from the world long enough, eventually nobody remembers you. Then you're alone, living with your choices. But I could never forget the man who pulled me up from nothing. Dowd, the Knife of Dunwall. A name called out by the desperate or the dying. The assassin who ended one empress and saved another. Shame burns inside you for a long time. When I betrayed Dowd, he let me live. I left Dunwall and my own name behind. For years, I wondered if I was worth forgiving. For years, I laughed at myself for even wanting a killer's forgiveness. Sometimes mercy cuts deeper than any knife. Now I know that forgiving is something you do for yourself as much as for the people who hurt you. I know Dowd is in Karnaca, and I'm going to find him. Every night for weeks, the same terrifying dream. A street fight, my arm dead and lying in the gutter, my eye gouged out by a Grand Guard sword. But when I wake up, they still hurt for hours. Gives me the creeps. This always brought me a little comfort. You stole this for me, didn't you, Deirdre? Now it's all I have left of you. Another relic from the old days. Still holds an edge, at least. That boxing club in the Albarca Baths is my last lead. Dowd has to be there.
Okay, so this is Deirdre. Right, contracts.
Is this what you would have looked like, my sweet Deirdre? I would have died soon after you, if it hadn't been for Dowd.
I think at some point they were lovers. We'll get into that in a little bit, but this is essentially the bedroom. Emily Caldwin is basically the Empress in, your home area. We're in an area called Karnaca, and Caldwin is not the leader here. Sokolov has moved up to Tivia, so that's, a ways north. These are the two contracts we have to start with. One of them, they want us to kill and burn the dog. Right. Not exactly a PETA-friendly quest line, I'm not going to lie. And then over here, we are basically going to kill a brewmaster,
Burglary,
steal his recipe.
Spying, picking pockets. Dowd taught me more than just killing. It can keep me afloat. For now.
So we're going to steal his recipe and kill his stock. Well, not kill, but destroy his stock of beer.
I've been searching for months. I know you're here, Dowd. Somewhere.
So I thought this part was pretty cool if you've played through Dishonored 2 already. The Jindosh Mansion is right there. We have the docks right there that we land in at first. We got the Addermeyer Institute over there by the Grand Palace as well. And there's the Bautista Mining District. So kind of cool to really sit back and look at this map again and, just remember all those little areas you had been in before.
That club is run by a gang that call themselves the Eyeless. They claim to fight using black magic. If that's true, then Dowd might be involved. Everyone in Dunwall was afraid of him then, but not me. Dowd's had the mark of the outsider in his hand for as long as I've known him. I've gone through every gang-infested slum asking after this, and no one would tell me a thing.
So what we get from here, from these guys, Isabel is a friend who tells us she's seen Dowd in town. T is a person who apparently used to work in the Little Assassins group with Dowd and Billy, who you are playing as. And, she's basically saying that Dowd is still the same person. And what's more interesting is that Dowd never stopped killing, and he's got the same old grudges.
Karnaca is full of secrets. If I have any clues about where Dowd is, it's because he let me find them.
And this is someone named Kitterick, and this is where we essentially get a little more information here. This is basically, we're getting replies. We're writing to people to ask if they've seen Dowd. And this guy asks, basically, why are we doing this? And why do we want to know? Perhaps an old lover. Forgive me, but he doesn't really seem your type. So I pretty much just assume that, yeah, Deirdre back there is a former lover of Billy's, pardon me. And well, probably, they probably loved each other, I'm going to hope for the best here. And, Billy's, the only survivor of the two for whatever reason. It's not really explained how Deirdre died. It's just, well, so far, it hasn't been explained how Deirdre died.
This station hasn't been used for years. Hiding the dreadful whale wasn't easy, but it's safe so far.
So this is new. You can now listen to some of the thoughts the rats have, just like you used to be able to listen to the thoughts that people had. And the rats will basically help you navigate hard to navigate areas or provide clues and
What
insights.
can you tell me today, my little gutter friends?
Yeah, but for this first time, they just insult you.
The friend listens. The friend hears us. One of us. One of us. But an ugly and big, still friend.
See? So I'm fat and ugly, but I'm still a friend. So I don't know how I feel about that one quite yet. But I mean, at this point, they're just rats. I'm not going to bother concerning myself too much with all that.
All right. The old Albarca Baths shouldn't be far.
Captain says to find out what the Eyeless gang's doing inside the Albarca.
Yeah, I know what they're doing. That place reeks of black magic. You see the people who went in there? Go after them and they'll... It's you and me now!
The note, since this is like the fourth time I'm coming through here, says that they're about to go raid this little fight club because they know that there's something going on in there. And so essentially what you're setting up here is you're setting yourself up so that, by the time you get out or, while you're in there, there's going to be a raid by what are essentially the local cops.
Could be a gimmick. But if they really do use magic, then I need to check it out.
Let's see here. There we go. That's good. That's always good to do. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's put on our little bone charm. Oh, nice. Okay, good. You'll notice that it said neutral territory earlier, like once we got into that little cabin. So these people don't really care about us right now. Goodbye, friends.
Pseudo-spiritualists will
Outsider's eyes. Dowd. They're making him fight? I have to get him out of there.
You don't look so tough. Look at
Yeah,
you.
so the trick here is
Tread
that
like a hound in the pits. Hoping your masters will throw you a bone charm.
so he's their prize fighter because they're holding him captive. They've given him the name the Black Magic Brute because they don't understand who he is, but they understand that he can do things that normal people absolutely cannot. So they know enough to be afraid, but at the same time, there's, I guess I want to say smart enough to capitalize on him. Would I recommend, like, trying to capitalize on a ruthless assassin with magic powers? No. You know, I don't think that was, you know, the smartest business decision that they could have made. However, you know, it's still a business decision that they made.
I knifed bigger blighters than him when I was a bottle street runner.
So if you were to talk to the rats on your way in here, they would tell you that there's a way up, oh my goodness, to the second floor through the showers, and so that's the only reason I know how to get up here. My first time through here, I died like half a dozen, not half, 3 or 4 times, because I just was confused about how to proceed. So I started, like, you know, hitting random people or throwing things or trying to pickpocket people to get information, when it turns out all I really had to do was just sit back and, you know, be less of a douchebag, no offense. And I say be less of a douchebag, however, we're gonna have a bad time. Remember those contracts we talked about earlier? Contracts are basically side quests that have to get taken care of.
A kid who said his bone charm would make bullets bounce off his skin. He shot himself in the stomach and died a day later.
So these are more bone charms. This one is supposed to be the reward for beating Dowd. Not that it would probably happen. Yeah, so those side quests, both of them are up here, more or less. One of them is through this door over here, the Brewmaster.
Then what am I gonna do?
Only at the Spectre Club. I wonder if that's a private club for Eyeless members.
So there was this one to destroy the stock and kill the dude. Well, it wasn't kill the dude, it was destroy the stock and get the recipe. This has happened to me several times now. Alright, so that's all the stock dead. And then he's actually got the recipe in here. Right, so what's cool is that your mini quests aren't picked up based on running into NPCs for right now. They're sort of, you know, available at the start of a mission, and they're, you know, shown to you. Cool, very nice. So he's pretty much taken care of. And, you know, now that we just completed that quest by going ahead and destroying the stock and picking up the recipe, you know, we got automatically rewarded with the funds. So that's good too.
They're just jealous. If I want to dance, then I can twirl around all I want. Just try and stop me. Mother would have shown these posers a thing or two. Pull a body up from a Morley bog after a year or so.
Here we go.
See what that does to the skin and bones. Mark my words. One of us will have control into the
Then I can go and have a moment. Something.
I won't let her stay! Let me help you. Too late. Better search the place.
Okay, if you want, you can search the place, that's fine.
We're always watching. Always. Where is she hiding?
Where is she hiding? So people are going to start coming up the stairs over there.
Come in here? Oh, it's a very bad idea.
Was it a bad idea? So this is my preferred way of doing this. Breaking the glass is a little bit easier because it's going to draw everyone out who basically tends to walk around up here. But it takes a little bit of time because they don't all, you know, arrive at the best place all at once. Yeah, so now he's noticing the window's broken. Okay, so he's gonna notice the window's broken, and after that he's gonna turn right around. Nice. And so this woman over around the corner right here is the important person we have to... We don't have to kill her, it's just an option. There should be 1 or 2 people walking around up here. Oh, I guess not. I guess not. You've got these new things called hook mines that I have not used yet. Okay. So you can usually kill these guys as long as you shoot them in the head at least once. They'll die pretty fast. Oh, there's someone up here. Alright. Oh, man, okay, alright. I mean, so here's the thing. The dog, its previous owner, doesn't really care anymore. Because the dog's previous owner was pretty much talking about how he's constantly sick, and he didn't say he was better off, but he made it very clear he didn't want the dog back. And when you get over here, you start reading the journals, and you find out that what they're doing is they're actually starving the dog so that they put them in the pits. Oh, there's a bone charm. I can't remember if I picked up this bone charm before. That's not what I... Okay, so this game doesn't have the best physics engine, I will not lie to you. Letter to Alma. Your last letter tore my heart out, with you begging me to quit the eyeless gang and come home. Whatever gruesome tales you heard, the eyeless aren't bloodthirsty brutes like hatters or howlers. They know things, secret things. They're teaching me to make medicines and brew potions, and even carve my own bone charms for the occult boxing fights. If I keep winning matches, I'll catch Jeanette Lee's eye. She's the boss here at Albarca. If I work for her, the coin will come rolling in, more than I ever made toiling on the docks. Sad news about Graham's fever. I can't spare any coin, but here's some dried raven beak for a poultice. Boil it down with yarrow root in a copper pot and spread it thick on Graham's chest. She'll be right as crystal rain in no time. Your brother Rory. So there's a bone charm. I definitely had not picked up this one before. Oh, that's right, it's going to be downstairs. Okay. Yeah, I have picked it up. I just don't remember picking it up here because you don't pick it up here. It's in this little room at the bottom of the staircase. Oh, shit. That's fine. We're going to put the dog in here to cremate him, as requested. There we go. Now we'll get our reward for burning and killing the dog. Okay, good. Alright, so...
Hiding that time. I'll make it into the inner circle.
I did take her key. That's the important thing to make sure of. So because I've caused a ruckus up here, and they have seen me, I can't really just walk back downstairs. I mean, one time I did manage to just walk downstairs, and they didn't care. But what's going to have to happen is this panel right here will release Dowd, which is going to end really badly for all of them, right? Because if you've been capturing and using an assassin while also subjecting him to what is literally some kind of mind torture, he's going to want revenge. So we're going to quick save. Look at that little save icon. We're going to drop down here and witness all the chaos. Yay!
Let's make her bleed. You're mine. The Brooks free.
3, 2, 1. Yes. There he is.
Dowd!
Lurk, I knew you'd seek me out one day. I didn't think it would be like this.
You were hard to find. How did you end up here?
So let's talk somewhere else. The Eyeless have more secrets than you know.
I've got a ship. Or what's left of it. The Dreadful Whale. It's docked below the Akantila repair station. Dowd,
Say whatever you want to say, Billy. That you're here now is enough. I need your help.
Like old times?
Those days are gone. This is something bigger. One last job.
I can do it. Who's the mark?
The one responsible for it all. The cults. The black magic. This mark on my hand. We're gonna kill the black-eyed bastard himself.
What? You want to kill the outsider? You want to kill God? I finally find him, and the old man's got me jumping right back into this occult shit. Dowd can explain himself back on the Dreadful Whale.
Okay. So what's behind this door, if you find yourself curious, is it is just the, it's an alternate way to the brewery where we killed that guy and took his recipe and basically completed that side quest. So it's not the kind of thing we need to deal with right now.
Wait for my orders!
Oh, there we go. I'm dead. Too aggressive on hard mode for sure. I think it should load like right at the last quick save. Yeah.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
I didn't loot your corpses. You didn't have anything. Okay. Alright. And that's it. Everyone is dead. Not my normal playthrough style. You know. I prefer to go stealthy. It makes things more challenging. But the purpose of this one is to try and see what we can do about actually getting a whole complete video uploaded, you know, just to get things moving. So, since we're primarily interested in just, you know, completing chapter 1s and uploading chapter 1 so we can move on to chapter 2, chapter 2 is going to have to get covered in the next upload. So, you know, if, oh man, I'd like to say, hey, if you enjoyed it, feel free to come back. But realistically, you know, this first video is very rough. It's going to look rough. It's going to sound rough. I'm really sorry about that. But, you know, video 2 is going to be, okay, video 1, let me just, you know, reflect a little bit more. Video 1 is, you know, a playthrough I made after, you know, going through the level several times, right? Going through the level in 20-something minutes after you've been there several times, totally realistic expectation. Going through the level in 20 minutes your first time on a stealth playthrough that you're attempting probably isn't going to happen realistically. That means it took me like an hour to get through it my first time because I was just overly concerned with being sneaky and I couldn't find a way to get where I wanted to go. So chapter 2 is going to be a lot more organic.